Rick Harrison, the charismatic and sharp-witted owner of the world-famous gold and silver pawn shop in Las Vegas, has long been a household name thanks to his starring role on Pawn Stars*. Known for his keen eye for rare artifacts, antiques, and collectibles, Rick's expertise often turns seemingly ordinary items into treasures worth thousands or even millions of dollars. But not every item that walks through the doors of his shop is met with excitement or awe. Some pieces are downright peculiar, others unassuming, and then there are those that might be considered downright hideous. Yet, as Rick always emphasizes, beauty is subjective when it comes to value, and sometimes the most unusual objects can hold hidden significance or surprising worth. This particular story begins when a woman walks into the pawn shop carrying what appears to be an ugly statue, a piece so bizarre and out of place that it immediately catches Rick's attention. The woman explains its origins. It was gifted to her by her former in-laws during a difficult period in her life, likely chosen more out of obligation than affection. Despite its lackluster appearance, she holds onto it because of its sentimental ties to her past. But now, she feels ready to part ways with it. Whether it's nostalgia, curiosity about its potential value, or simply the need for extra cash, she decides to bring it to the one place where oddities often find new purpose: the pawn shop. The statue itself is hard to describe. It's large, clunky, and adorned with garish details that clash rather than complement each other. Its design seems haphazard, almost as though someone threw together mismatched elements without any coherent vision. And yet, there's something oddly compelling about it, perhaps because of how polarizing it is. For Rick, this kind of challenge is right up his alley. He thrives on unraveling mysteries, whether they involve priceless historical relics or quirky knickknacks from someone's attic. As he examines the statue, running his fingers over its surface and scrutinizing its craftsmanship, he starts piecing together clues about its origin and possible value. Could this ugly duckling actually be a diamond in the rough? Or is it just another forgettable trinket destined to gather dust? As Rick takes a closer look at the statue, he notices several intriguing features that suggest it might have some historical or cultural significance. The base of the statue bears markings that resemble symbols used in early 20th century European art movements, particularly those associated with the Art Deco period. This observation prompts Rick to consider whether the piece could be linked to a specific artist or era known for experimenting with unconventional designs. Additionally, the materials used in the statue's construction appear to be high-quality bronze, which would indicate that it wasn't mass-produced, but rather crafted with care and precision. Rick points out these details to the woman, explaining why they might add value to the otherwise unattractive piece. "You see these lines here?" he asks, tracing the grooves along the statue's surface. They're consistent with techniques used by certain sculptors who were trying to break away from traditional styles. That alone makes this worth investigating further. His enthusiasm grows as he continues to examine the statue, noting subtle imperfections in the casting process that hint at handcrafted workmanship rather than machine production. Despite its gaudy appearance, the statue's intricate detailing suggests that it may have once served a functional or ceremonial purpose, possibly tied to a niche cultural tradition. Rick speculates aloud that it could have originated from a region where such bold aesthetics were celebrated, citing examples like Eastern European folk art or mid-century American kitsch. While the average person might dismiss it as tacky or outdated, Rick recognizes the layers of history embedded within its form. With each passing moment, the statue transforms from an eyesore into a puzzle waiting to be solved, and potentially a lucrative discovery for both him and the woman who brought it in. After thoroughly examining the statue and considering its potential origins, Rick decides to make an offer that reflects both his professional judgment and the unique nature of the item. He proposes $20,000 for the statue, a figure that initially surprises the woman given its outwardly unappealing appearance. Rick explains his reasoning carefully, emphasizing that while the statue may not appeal to mainstream tastes, its combination of craftsmanship, historical markers, and possible rarity could make it highly desirable to niche collectors or institutions specializing in unconventional art forms. It's not just about what something looks like, he says. Sometimes, the ugliest things carry the most value because they tell a story no one else can. The woman listens intently, visibly weighing her options. On one hand, she hadn't expected such a substantial offer for what she had always viewed as an awkward family heirloom. On the other hand, parting with the statue means severing a tangible connection to her past, a decision that isn't made lightly. Rick senses her hesitation and reassures her, acknowledging the emotional weight behind the transaction. "I get it," he says. "This isn't just a statue. It's memories, relationships, all wrapped up in one weird package. But if you're ready to let it go, I'll make sure it ends up somewhere meaningful." Her expression shifts as she contemplates Rick's words. She knows the money could provide practical benefits, yet she also wonders whether selling the statue would feel like erasing a chapter of her life. Ultimately, after a few moments of quiet reflection, she nods slowly, signaling her agreement to the deal. Rick smiles warmly, extending his hand to seal the transaction. In that moment, the exchange transcends mere commerce. It becomes a shared understanding between two people, navigating the delicate balance between sentiment and opportunity. The sale of the ugly statue underscores a recurring theme in Pawn Stars*, the intersection of emotion and economics. Throughout the show's run, countless stories have highlighted how personal attachments influence the decisions people make when bringing items to the pawn shop. For many sellers, their belongings aren't just objects. They're vessels of memory, identity, and legacy. Whether it's a grandfather's military medal, a childhood toy, or a wedding gift turned sour reminder, these items often carry layers of meaning that complicate the act of letting them go. Rick Harrison, seasoned as he is in evaluating both material worth and human sentiment, understands this dynamic better than most. He approaches each transaction not merely as a negotiation, but as a dialogue, recognizing that the true value of an item extends far beyond its monetary price tag. This episode serves as a poignant reminder of the dual forces at play in the world of pawning. On one side lies pragmatism, the cold, calculated assessment of supply and demand, rarity and condition. On the other lies the deeply personal realm of nostalgia, grief, pride, or regret. These emotions can elevate even the most mundane possessions into cherished keepsakes, making the decision to sell them fraught with complexity. Rick's ability to navigate this delicate balance has earned him respect not only as a businessman, but also as a mediator of sorts, guiding individuals through the often bittersweet process of moving on. By offering the woman $20,000 for her statue, he didn't just recognize its potential market value. He acknowledged the years of life embedded within it, creating space for her to honor the past while embracing new possibilities. As the episode drew to a close, viewers were left reflecting on the broader implications of Rick Harrison's approach to valuing items and people. His willingness to see beyond surface-level appearances, whether in assessing the ugly statue or connecting with the woman's personal narrative, speaks volumes about his philosophy as both a pawnbroker and a human being. It's a lesson that resonates far beyond the confines of the gold and silver pawn shop. True value is rarely skin-deep. Sometimes, what seems unremarkable or even off-putting at first glance holds untapped potential, waiting for someone with the insight and patience to uncover it. For the woman who parted with her statue, the transaction represented more than financial gain. It symbolized closure and renewal. By entrusting her heirloom to Rick, she allowed herself to step away from the weight of old memories and embrace the promise of new beginnings. Meanwhile, Rick's decision to invest in the statue demonstrated his belief in giving overlooked treasures a second chance, reaffirming his role as a curator of stories as much as artifacts. Ultimately, moments like these remind us that value is multifaceted, shaped by history, craftsmanship, emotion, and opportunity. They challenge us to look closer, ask questions, and remain open to discovering beauty, even in places we least expect it. And perhaps most importantly, they underscore the importance of empathy in every exchange, ensuring that transactions leave both parties richer in ways that extend well beyond dollars and cents.